Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review the child novel adaptation, A Wrinkle in Time, an unfilmable film, because you hear that a lot, and it's like, how's it gonna go? I've heard very mixed things about that, and I'm gonna tell you all about it. And this was directed by Ava DuVernay, who directed Selma, and she's a very talented director, and a lot of people were very excited about her having this opportunity. Might not have been the best film to do for your first big film, especially because this is a very hard film to make work. And it really doesn't. But it was also shot. The director of photography was Tobias A. Schleichler. This was written by Jennifer Lee and Jeff Stockwell, and it was composed by Ramin Djawadi, who does the music for Game of Thrones. So right off the bat, the music in this was great. It was really epic, it was emotional, and it really did its job. And I'm not going to gush too much about Djawadi's work, but it was fantastic. The issue... What do I like about this film? This was very ambitious and well acted for the most part, and I'll get to more details about that. I feel like Ava DuVernay does a really good job for the most part getting great performance out of young actors, which is really tough. And she's able to do that from Storm Reed and Derek McCabe, who play... I'm so bad with character names. Our young protagonist, our young girl, and then Charles Wallace, her brother. I will not forget that, because they freaking say Charles Wallace so many times throughout that movie. But the two of them, Storm Reed and Derek McCabe, really are fantastic, and Ava DuVernay does a really good job of getting great performances out of them. Tonally, this is a very hard film to capture, and it's uncomfortable and weird and abstract throughout a lot of it, and at least consistently it's that throughout the whole entire film. Nothing comes out like, oh my god, this it just is all over the place from a tonal perspective. It's like it puts you into this situation and you understand this is going to get weird and dark and crazy all over the place. The issue is trying to balance the story and trying to say it. The storytelling in this film I don't think was done very well. And it's very choppy scenes, just scene, and it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It doesn't really come together as a cohesive film. And from a writing perspective, what Lee and Stockwell do with this novel, I read A Wrinkle in Time, but it's been a long time, and I understand that all these characters are in the book, and it goes a certain way, but after a while, it's just like, why are some of you even here? You're not really contributing anything, and they're there for being like, oh, this is a weird, quirky kind of story, look at all these weird, crazy characters, and like, you go to this place because you need to do this thing, but it's like, you could have figured this out in a different way, probably, but you're just doing this because it happened that way in the novel, and they need to have this character. And when I get to talking about the performances, but there's a lot of like, these three Mrs. Who, Mrs. Which, Mrs. I forgot what Reese Witherspoon's is. It's the weirdest one out of all of them. But it's just, they're like, what are you here for? Honestly. And it's just like, we're going to teach you a couple of things and toss these magical things to you. And it's like, poof! And it's just like, why is Zach Galifianakis in this film? Like, I'm just a man bun guy with a beard in a cave that's going to help you balance and try to connect where your father is. And it's just like, I feel like there's different ways about handling some of these things in this film. And like, Michael Pena pops up for like a hot second. And they actually use him in an interesting way where they play off of like, it's Michael Pena. Like, trying to... He's like, he seems nice, he seems cool, he seems funny, he seems charming, and then there's some darkness behind him, but it's just like, you're there for like 3 minutes, and it's just like, what are you doing here? How much do they pay you to be here for that long? And I felt like it was just distractions, and then Levi Miller's character, it's just like, what are you doing here? Honestly, it's just like he shouldn't even been there at all. And his performance is really forced and weird, and it's just like it was bad. I just did not like it at all. But it's like, why? Why are you even here? I've heard people make comments. It's like it's a deconstruction. It's this young female character that's usually in these kids' movies that doesn't contribute anything. Just making him a male character doesn't make it any better. It's just as bad. It's just like you could make it really good and not even have to have him there as a distraction and just have this young girl played by Storm Reed really own it. And she owns it throughout a lot of these sequences. And the emotional connection that she has, her character and her father, is great. And it's powerful and really one of the best parts of this whole entire film. And Chris Pine brings it. And Chris Pine does a fantastic job. I really liked him in this film. This is very ambitious. It is very beautiful. It's beautifully shot. There's great slow-mo. There's great... There's just some really amazing framing and shots that are cool and uncomfortable, and how things were put together throughout this film. And Schleisler does a really good job of shooting this film. The CGI can be a bit too much at points, but for the most part it's very gorgeous CGI and it's well done. But and after a while it's like if there's too many shots of, like, especially towards the end of the film, where it's just like this is just a whole CGI thing going around, and it's just like you look like you're standing on a set with a giant green screen behind you kind of thing. And it's just like some of it works, some of it really doesn't. But Storm Reed is fantastic. I want to see her in more films. She's great. Gugu Mbatha-Raw, who plays the mother in this, she has some good emotional moments throughout this film when she does pop up. And Reese Witherspoon, out of all the crazy weird characters, I felt like brought the most to this and actually had some personality, because the misses were really boring and had no personality really. And like, why the hell's Oprah in this movie? Honestly, she's just there because Oprah and to get attention for this film. Because honestly, her character does nothing but spew on the nose, really, like, I'm gonna be sounding supportive and I'm gonna say it in a powerful way. And just like, it's really pretentious. And it's just like, none of that really was meaningful. And then Mindy Kaling just spews out quotes from people, and it's just like, okay. And yeah, honestly, this is a really ambitious but really poorly executed mess that, if it wasn't, like, this probably would be really bad grade for me if it wasn't for the emotional connection that anchors this film between Storm Reed and Chris Pine's characters, and for some of the sequences being really cool and tense. I did really appreciate. There's some really well done tension throughout some of the sequences in this film, but overall, as a cohesive unit, I'm giving it a higher grade due to its ambition and what it was trying to do, and I'm going to give A Wrinkle in Time a C-.